We won the auction for this Maeving RM1 electric motorcycle for just £600. Now can we get it running? Obviously, we won the auction because you're seeing the motorbike outside of our workshop, but let me hand you back to past me before we actually won the auction.
Motorcycle that's in Copart. It's a non-runner. Let me tell you some more details about it. We don't know how many miles it's got on it because it doesn't run, so it doesn't switch on. But it looks like it's a little thing that we can have a fix of. It is in Peterlee, which is our closest Copart auction, which makes it even more attractive because we can kind of get over there in 20 minutes and pick it up in the back of a van. It's kind of retail value that we've seen is somewhere between £2,000 and £3,000. It's not damage recorded like a lot of Copart stuff is, so it's a clean title on it. It just looks like it's either been an insurance repossession or something. It's the RM1, it's an early one, so I think it'll do kind of about 45 mile an hour and maybe 30-40 mile range. So it's something that's of interest. I'll insert some pictures here while I'm talking so you can actually have a look around it as we've seen it in the auction. I'm trying to get it for less than £1,000 with including the fees, because God knows what it needs to actually fix it. It could be the motors not working, control circuitry, who knows. Looking at it, you can actually, in the pictures that you're looking at the moment, you can see that it's got pictured with a battery next to it. Now, I don't know whether that's the main battery or an auxiliary battery. There's so many questions that we don't know about it, but it's part of the fun of what we do. We love buying non-runners out of auctions and getting them running again, and giving them a second life. We love the classic styling of these bikes. I've loved them since I saw them at Fully Charged Live, which must have been, what, 2020? Yeah, 2020? No, can't have been 2020 because that was called off because of COVID. 2021 down at Farnborough. I had a peruse around them on the stands. I'm terrible though. All of these new bikes, and they weren't that expensive when they were new, maybe £4 or £5. I thought, well, I'll wait till there's one in the auction that's not non-running and I'll see if I can get that. So quite excited about it, which I shouldn't be in an auction. I'm always told by James, our head engineer, don't get excited, it's an auction. If you're excited, you're going to spend too much money. So we'll try and bid on it. I think it is, at the moment, let me see, it is 75 minutes away. So we'll get prepared and then we'll bring you back whilst we're bidding on it. You don't really know, do you?
Sold on approval.
Little did I know until after I bought the bike that the company Maeving was actually come up with in Durham University. Two friends, Seb and Will, whilst they were at Durham University, came up with the idea for a motorbike that could help solve pollution. Those two guys then went on to found Maeving, develop and launch the RM1 and then subsequently other motorbikes, and the company's based down in Coventry. But bringing it back home to where the idea all kind of started from, I'm from Durham, the company's based in Durham, and I thought, well, it's just a perfect fit. Well, it's the next day, even though it looks exactly the same as it did last time I was talking to you. Anyway, so after some backwards and forwards, I think we've got the scooter. We've won the scooter in the auction. Sorry, not the scooter, the motorbike. I'm thinking of something else. So basically what happened was our bid won at £600, but then it came back saying that it had to be referred to the seller because it hadn't met reserve. It keeps on happening quite a bit in auctions. Anyway, the system then told me that the reserve was 1,700, which would have meant about £2,500 after the fees, which you can buy a running and drive in good condition, decent condition, for about that price. So it's like, well, that was ridiculous. Anyway, it said wait for the seller to come back with a counter offer, and he came back with a counter offer of £650. And I'm like, no, £600 was kind of stretching the budget as it was. So we had a lot of, I said 600, he went to 640. I said 600, he went to 630. I said 600, he went to 620. Anyway, woke up this morning, looked at my phone, and there it is. We've won the vehicle. So let's see, well, where does it tell us the ones we've won? There we are, down here. If I click the pay now button, then we'll find out what everything is. Yeah, £916.80 is what it's going to cost us. So we'll organise to get that paid and then organise to go and pick it up. So let's go pick it up.
A quick 20-minute drive sees us get to Peterlee Copart and load the bike up. Half an hour drive back again, and it's time to unload the bike. As you can see, 2-man job, otherwise it might fall off the ramp. And we have it extracted. So now a roll down, and let's get it outside the garage and give it its initial inspection and see what we can find. While we had a quick look round it, we found that there was quite a bit of surface rust on some of the bolts. It looks like it had been stood outside. Now I don't know whether that's with the previous owner or whether it was when it's been stood at the salvage auction places or what it is. Nothing bad, it's just stuff that we're going to address. You see that the lovely auction people have written on the seat, and you can see there on the top of the kind of the fork crowns where there's little bits of surface rust, and the surround around the ignition key is a little bit worn away. Thinking about that, I think that's maybe where the previous owners had a key ring whilst it's been in there. So initially try and get it to run, just turn the key, nothing at all on the dash, no sign of any power or anything in there. Just give that another go to try and see if it makes any difference. Obviously I'm flying the camera everywhere because I'm trying to turn the handlebars, hold the camera, do the filming and do everything else at the same time. None of the buttons are working, so we decided to wheel it inside and fit a 12-volt battery to it. Here we go, very quickly fitting the 12-volt battery to it, so speed it up so you don't have the pain of having to go through it. There we are, taking the emblem off the side of the case, which then allows us to access the place where the 12-volt battery is on the bike. This then enables us to take the old one out and replace it with a new one. So all we needed to do there was to just extract the old battery, get that out, and then make sure that we've got a new one on standby ready just to go in. Okay, a new battery fitted. Let's give this a go. And there the dash lights up, got an indicator on. Oh, am I thinking that's a hazard? Yeah, I thought that was hazard, but it's not. It's just on one side. So once we cancel that indicator going off, now that we've realised that's what's going on. So lots of things on the dash. At that point, no error codes shown. And then all of a sudden it showed error 001. We're not entirely sure what that is, but we found that the door for the main battery was open. Pulled that open, and then while one of the guys went off to find the actual battery, because we'd had that on charge just to make sure that it was taking charge and everything was okay on it, and we were having another look around the bike, just trying to get the hatch open for in the tank. Haven't been able to figure out how to do that yet. But Jeff came back with the battery, and we figured out which way around it needs to go in. Oh, so there's the connector. You can see the connector in there. So just slide her in, put that in, and then we closed the door. And we found that it was showing that it had 92% on the dash thing. You can just see that there. It said 92. Still had an error code on it. So we were then trying to figure out exactly what we needed to do to actually get it running and seeing if we could get access to things and see where everything was. Realised this is the button. You double tap that and it opens it up. That's space for another battery all ready to go in if you wanted to double the range on it. And we just had a quick check around that to see what that was doing. Found a USB port in the corner there. So everything is as we expected it to be. And then we kept on going through just to see what the other errors might be and what we needed to do to get it to run. Talking of getting things to run, that's what we do here at Kinghorn Electric Vehicles. We convert classics to electric, as you can see, a lovely 60s Mercedes that we've converted to electric. We service and repair modern electric vehicles. We also sell modern electric vehicles and source them to order for customers. So if there's anything that you need doing with your EV or you're thinking about getting an EV, visit www.kinghornev.com for more information.
So we've got it back from Copart. and we've gone and we put a new battery on it, which you'll have just seen, and then we messed about, figured out how all the doors opened and stuff, which I'll show you in a bit. We got everything turned on, and then all of a sudden it showed a few error codes. We realized that the door was shut on the side and blah blah blah. So then we went through things, kind of disconnected the new 12-volt battery, put it back on again, and then all of a sudden everything started to work. So we gave it a run up and down the yard. So here's us having a run up and down the yard on it.
It's too late. In reverse.
Has it still got the light on the dash though? Has it still got a...
Yeah, still got the one. That full throttle.
No, it's not a sports bike.
Seems that mode 1 is the fast one.
Alright. I think that's the one it defaults to, isn't it?
One that you do it. You try it out first. I'll try it. Where you want to dance?
And then we've done that. All the warning lights have gone off the face of it. So the one thing that we did find was that at one point it wouldn't go into gear, but then the side stand had been down and then it had gone back up. So we think there may be an intermittent fault with the side stand switch. So then we decided we'll go through all of that stuff. So, but the best thing for us to do really is to ride it. So I've just taxed it and I've gone out and bought myself a brand new helmet because I've lost my old one somehow. And what I'm going to do now is just give her a clean. There's a lot, I think it's lived outside a lot of its life. So I'll give it an initial clean, see what it comes up like. But it's, I wasn't really a fan of this grey to begin with, but it's nice now, now that we've got the worst of the dust off it. And we'll see what it looks like once it's cleaned up and give it a ride around. I'll probably use it for a couple of days. Hopefully bring you guys along with us while we're using it. Then you can see what it's like, and then we'll see if there's any faults appear and what we actually need to get done with it. So let's get this thing washed.
Now it's time for a ride out. Let's see what it's like to ride and how much noise it makes. In fact, I'll be a bit of a spoiler for you. It doesn't make really any noise, but you'll actually hear it as we set off, and more of what you'll hear is the actual wind noise it's created. But that's the most that it actually really does. The great thing about electric motorcycles is you can actually hear what's going on around you. So I'll shut up in a second, and once I've got the bike figured out where I can actually get it into drive, then we'll set off. what you just heard, the clunking about there, is me trying to get the side stand sensor to go off. It stopped the bike from running, so I pulled across to the side of the road and I was clunking around trying to get it to work. Eventually managed to get it to work and pulled off again.
Mechanically now she's perfect. What we need to do is clean her up a bit more. As you can see, she already looks pretty good, but it's actually got some dirty marks on the brushed aluminium, and there's some kind of rust spots on the handlebars. They're so heavily pitted. We've ordered a new set of handlebars to make that better. There's kind of surface rust in places. I think it may have sat outside for a while, kind of on the nuts, on the spokes, on the wheels, and around the handlebar area. So we're going to get all of that cleaned up, make her perfect, give her more of a mechanical check over and run it for a while, and then it'll be up for sale. So if this has been of interest, why don't you hit that subscribe button, and then we'll see you in the next episode where we'll detail all of the costs and everything that we did to it, show you around it as it's been fully detailed and restored, and then see if we can find a buyer for it. Can we turn the £600 gamble into a profit? See you in the next one. Keep charging on.